Hey everyone, so I'm a bit behind on reviews at the moment. Usually I'll do like Game of Thrones and Rick and Morty on a Monday, but I have a movie review, which I'm doing right now, so I probably won't be uploading both Game of Thrones and Rick and Morty today, but I'll try and do at least one of them. So just bear in mind that it will be a little behind on things this week, plus I'm going away on Thursday, so yeah, it's going to be a bit of a mess. But anyway, for now, let's review Annabelle Creation. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the Conjuring franchise. I was never really a fan of the first one, and the first Annabelle is absolute trash. But I enjoyed The Conjuring 2 quite a lot. I thought that was a very good film. And Annabelle Creation's been getting like rave reviews. I mean, they've gone down a bit now, but they were really good. And I was thinking, well, supposedly the first Ouija is shit, and I never watched that. And then I watched Ouija Origin of Evil, and I actually really liked that film. So I'm thinking, if they can do that with a prequel, then surely a prequel to a prequel, because that's what this is. This is a prequel to Annabelle, which is a prequel to The Conjuring. I'm like, surely if they can do it with Ouija, they can do it with Annabelle. So I kept an open mind, went in, and it is pretty much what you'd expect from a horror film. That's about it. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's not bad. It's actually a pretty fun time. It's got some good scares, it's got some good, visual horror, so I appreciate it for that. But at the same time, I never watched it thinking, this is really good, like I did with Ouija Origin of Evil, because that was a genuine shock to me. This one was just sort of like, it's fine, probably never gonna watch it again, but it's fine. So let's get into the plot. So the plot doesn't really revolve too much around the Annabelle doll itself, which is what I was expecting being called Annabelle Creation. It starts off with this family. There's this little girl, and she's like well loved by the family. She's just a typical horror movie family, and then she's killed by a car. And the creator of the doll, Annabelle, is her father. So these orphans come to stay with him, and this doll is obviously possessed, and they do explain why. I won't go into it because spoilers, but this doll is possessed and it's terrorizing this family, this orphanage, and that's pretty much the film that we've got. So it's more about these orphans than it is about Annabelle herself, but when she's on the screen, like the actual doll, there is a very creepy vibe, and I really am creeped out by Annabelle when I just see her. She'll move her head slightly and you'll look and be like, that wasn't like that a minute ago. I'm pretty freaked out. So I like that about the film. It doesn't always rely on jump scares. It relies on the visuals to sort of creep you out. But like a lot of horror films, a lot of modern horror, there are jump scares, and they are just so unscary. They're just a bit annoying. They just come out of nowhere. Like there's this one scene where one of the girls sees like a demonic presence, and it turns around and it's all creepy and weird, and it didn't look scary to me. It looked very CGI. And it was like the Satan scene in This Is the End when he rapes Jonah Hill. Yeah, it's a weird comparison, but that's what the demon in this looked like, except that one was more in shadows in This Is the End. So the one in This Is the End, an actual comedy, was more scary than the one in this film. So there you go. But yeah, I mean, for a lot of the time, the performances aren't that good. But I will say that the performances of the children in this film are surprisingly really good. The adults, not so much, but the children in this film give brilliant performances. Like, I said that about Ouija 2, the main girl in that was absolutely brilliant. Like, she knocked it out of the park. And I don't know if it's the same girl in this film, but they look exactly alike, so it could be. I mean, I'm not saying it is, because then I'm completely wrong and I look like an idiot on the internet. But I'm pretty sure it's the same girl. I don't know. But yeah, overall, Annabelle Creation, it's not a film that I will say that is definitely worth rushing out to see immediately. It's not a film that you have to go and watch. But as a horror film, it does do its job, and it does do it mostly effectively. I was never terrified, I was never that scared, and it does drag a bit, it becomes a bit boring. And by the end, the ending is a bit stupid, and the way it wraps up is a bit ridiculous. So yeah, it's definitely not the best in the Conjuring franchise. That would go to The Conjuring 2 in my opinion, because I prefer that much more than the first one, because that one was more interesting to me and that one was actually scarier to me. Don't know why, but that one did really unsettle me. So yeah. So if you're a fan of the Conjuring franchise, you're probably going to like Annabelle Creation, but if you're expecting like the doll to have all this explanation, all this great stuff, you're not going to get it. You're going to get some creepy scenes with her. You're going to get, a bit of the backstory. You're going to find out why she's there and all that sort of stuff, what you'd expect to find out in a prequel to a prequel. But at the same time, you're not going to walk out of this thinking, wow, Annabelle's the greatest horror character in the history of mankind, because it's just not what she is. So if you've seen Annabelle Creation, let me know what you thought of it. Were you scared or were you bored? It's going to be one of the two. I feel like this is really going to divide people. I mean, I know it's been getting good reviews, but I feel like this is the sort of film that is really going to divide people who are horror fans. So let me know what you thought of it. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will be back shortly.